Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we're going to talk about real greatness. This past summer, we spent 3 days at Universal Studios. At the end of each day, and then at the end of the whole experience, my middle son would ask, "What ride was your favorite? I want you to rank your top 3. This exchange would be very passionate. It would be a discussion about the best rides and, of course, why. They acted as if they had created their favorite rides. It was rather amusing. They were so passionate. But if it wasn't checked, their ranking changed to arguing over something really trivial and frankly stupid. Well, Jesus had to coach his disciples on their own ranking system. Now, it wasn't a ranking system for rides, but a ranking for greatness. What did Jesus have to say about being great? This is what he said in Mark chapter 9, beginning in verse 33. They came to Capernaum when he was in the house and asked them, "What were you arguing about on the way?" But they were silent, because on the way, they had been arguing with one another about who was the greatest. Sitting down, he called the 12 and said to them, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be last and servant of all." He took a child, had him stand among them, and taking him in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one little child such as this in my name, welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but him who sent me." So Jesus is with his disciples and arrives at the house. Whose house? Well, we don't know, but most people assume it was Peter's home. But like any astute teacher or leader, he noticed the disciples were arguing like a bunch of kids in the back seat of the car. So he asked them, what was all that fighting about? I love the Bible because it records exactly what happened. Mark says, "But they were silent." In other words, they were busted, and they knew it. They were caught, and now they are quiet because of their guilt. You see, Jesus knew the issue, so he addresses it head on. He sits down like any rabbi would do and says to them, "If anyone wants to be first, he must first be last and a servant of all." Now, here Jesus uses a Greek word that means servant, but he means a server at a restaurant and not a slave. Now, Jesus doesn't try to teach an everybody wins or everybody gets a ribbon philosophy. He doesn't deny greatness, he redefines greatness. He says true greatness is not found in pride, but in humility. Jesus would say that he came not to be served, but to serve. Think about this. God in the flesh, who is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, is the epitome of greatness. He would serve to the point of death on a cross. Why would he do this? So dead sinners could be spiritually alive. True greatness is not in wealth. It's not in a job title, accomplishments, popularity, social media influence, or anything else like it. Greatness, according to Jesus, is found in servanthood. And as an example, Jesus invites a child to his presence. Now, what we need to know is that children and women were viewed as property and objects of limited value. Jesus and the disciples flipped the script on that. The example of humility is not the child, but Jesus welcoming the child. Truly in his society, the least of these. That's why this is my challenge for you today. Humble yourself in service. Jesus welcomed in the least of these. In Jesus' day, it was a child. Today, there are many people and individuals who are discarded and disregarded. Find one way to welcome them in. Find one way to show them the grace of God. Demonstrate it in an act of kindness. The humblest act of kindness sets off a chain reaction that shakes heaven itself. For whatever is done to the least of these is done to Jesus. And whatever is done to Jesus is done to God. When we do that, friend, Jesus wins the day.